The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Backtracks.
Subreddit, Josh. Do you subreddit?
Okay, well, there's a couple Reddit threads I follow, and you'd call those subreddits.
How often do you subreddit? How much is too much subreddit?
I don't know. Maybe once a weeker.
Okay.
I'll follow up on usually kind of some nerdy stuff. Mm-hmm. When I get some time.
Surprising.
I don't know what that... Actually, you're talking to a snack right here.
Yeah. What's
A
with the
little
attitude?
respect, please.
Yeah, you're not a nerd at all. You're a snack.
Yeah, it's some nerdy stuff. It's like mostly like subreddits on certain programs, like or I guess you call them apps now, things like that.
That
Tips
sounds
and
thrilling.
Yeah, shortcuts, like.
Dang, dude.
So you'll fall for it now and again.
All
You'll
right, I
go,
deserved it, Ashley.
you'll
some
go
chicken
ahead and
breast.
you'll subreddit now and again. Somebody posted some interesting information on the Am I Overreacting subreddit. Okay? I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I think I can figure it out.
So those subreddits and stuff, I'll see in articles, right? Somebody will do just this. They'll say, hey, check this out from the subreddit. I should start following those because, do you guys check those often?
Yes,
no, I'm same with
every
you,
day.
Josh. I see them in pop-up in articles.
Never saw it.
How much of it is garbage, Ashley, and how much, like sometimes we'll talk about the am I the a-hole one?
Right.
And there's some pretty funny stuff.
Right.
Is it always that good, Ashley, or you have to really sift through it?
The majority of them are pretty good.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't do any of this kind of stuff.
No, I'm unfamiliar. But it falls into place nicely, I think, here, because yesterday we had a lot of fun when we were talking to Randy Shaver, talking sports. We were running through the latest nonsense from Dallas Cowboys owner Jared Jones. The sun comes pouring through their windows of their ballpark there where the Dallas Cowboys play, right? This is a conversation we were having yesterday. The sun comes pouring onto the playing field, and it blinds the players on the field. But this Jared Jones is such an oversensitive prick. When someone came up with the idea of, hey, let's just pull the curtains so the boys can see, he had a dramatic overreaction, and he said, well, why don't we just knock the whole stadium over then and start up again, right?
Yeah,
Right.
just
Dramatic-
blow it all up.
Dramatic overreaction.
So you alluded yesterday in another part of the conversation that you and your wife don't know how to cook. All right? You didn't so much say it as you alluded to it.
Yeah.
And didn't your wife respond to you via text?
She did. She texted back and said, well, then, why don't we just burn the house to the ground? Why do we even need a kitchen then? Let's destroy the kitchen.
I think that counts as an overreaction.
Yes, you're right. So it kind of plays nicely into where we're going here. What the hell did my computer just do? Okay, it's back in business. Someone posted some information, a story, in the Am I Overreacting subreddit. Here's the story. My 36-year-old boyfriend, this is a young lady speaking, my 36-year-old boyfriend of 2 years. He was in the bathroom at his apartment. I opened the door to grab my allergy medication. By the way, Josh, your mom texted me earlier. You left your acne medication at home.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to text her real quick. Bring my retainer as well.
She wanted me to remind you
Yeah.
to stop by her place and pick up your acne medication. My 36-year-old boyfriend of 2 years was in the bathroom at his apartment. I opened the door to grab my allergy meds. I didn't think to knock. Well, why not? But anyway, we'll have to just move past that. I didn't think to knock. and figured he'd lock the door if he needed to. When I opened the door, he was squatting while holding a wad of toilet paper directly under his ass.
Why are you not locking the door for this activity?
Like a catcher's mitt. He had wrapped a hand in toilet paper, and he's holding that directly under his ass cheeks in the squatting position. I screamed and I ran out, she says.
I wouldn't know how to respond to that either. But you're right, Ashley. If I had a habit like that, I'd probably... Well, I locked the door anyway. But I'm very curious to know, is there any part of them that wanted to be caught? Nah, probably not, right?
It
just didn't think to lock it.
Interesting thought, Josh, but I would lean towards no on that. I like how you're trying to cover every angle, but I think likely the answer there is no. So, the dude was preparing to make a deuce into his hand.
As is tradition.
According to his girlfriend. He explained to me, look, there's no denying what you saw.
You've seen some things. I can admit that.
I can't spin this.
Exactly, I can't spin this.
I'm going to try.
No spin I can put on this. I was in the squatting position. My hand was wrapped in toilet paper, and I was prepared to drop a log into the palm of my hand. There's no denying what you saw, he said. But in explaining himself, and I can't believe this is a real person, I don't know. He does this to make less sound as opposed to deucing directly into the bowl because he's shy and he would be embarrassed if she heard him cutting a turd.
Turn the water in the sink on or something.
Actually, I know I've heard from people that they will put they'll do the toilet paper trick, but they'll put the toilet paper in the toilet.
That's what I've heard.
Oh,
yeah, not in their around their hand.
It's like a silencer.
Yes.
It's like a muffler. They'll load the water in the bowl with toilet paper to cushion the blow.
Yep.
So strange to me.
Why?
So he explained himself. I do this because I'm shy, I'm embarrassed. I don't want you to hear the plop, plop, this, that, when I'm unleashing the fury in my bathroom. Her question is, Josh, am I overreacting by thinking this is weird? The obvious answer is no.
No, that's odd. It sounds like he admits that's odd.
Am I overreacting that I think this is weird? If you did not think that was weird, then I would be concerned.
I really want to be there when someone tells them the trick you mentioned, Ashley, because there are times I miss the most obvious answer because I'm very all or nothing, and I have trouble seeing the gray. I think I mentioned this before. There was one time we're trying to figure out what to have for dinner. My wife's like, how about we get pizza? And I'm like, well, I love pizza, but I don't think I could finish a whole pizza right now. And she's like, why don't you have half a pizza? And it never occurred to me. Like, sometimes those super easy things never occur to me.
I have that problem.
And so, because I think I'm very black or white. But in this case, I'd love to see the realization on his face when he goes, oh, I could have just put that in the toilet. It's so much easier. I just take the toilet paper, put that in there.
Now, listeners are telling us when you load the water, when you load the bowl with toilet paper to cushion the blow, it is called the lily pad.
Oh, that's a great
That's
name.
so funny.
I don't think I've ever heard of that. I mean, it made perfect sense, Ashley, when you were explaining it to me, but I don't think I'd ever heard of that method before. I'm not shy when it comes to the bathroom. You guys know that, so this stuff is all pretty foreign to me. So am I overreacting, she says. Of course not.
That would change the rest of our relation. Like, that would change the way I looked at him.
It would have to.
Forever.
It would have to.
How would you... I can't have sex with that.
Yeah, it would take you a while, wouldn't it?
Every single time he comes out of the bathroom now, you ask, did you wash your hands?
Yeah, see, and that would bother me is how many times have you done this and then came and sat next to me?
I also couldn't have sex with that.
And also, this guy's having a lot of faith in himself that he's going to produce a solid movement.
I didn't even think of that.
Say what?
'cause what if it came out a little runny, a little liquidy?
Oh, it's all over his
And then it goes right through the toilet paper.
He must be a healthy guy.
People are bringing up other good points about why you'd want to put the toilet paper muffler in there. Avoid streaks, right?
Oh.
And also, you don't have to worry about the mermaid's kiss. Or Poseidon's kiss. Poseidon's kiss.
Poseidon's. And who cares about streaks? Don't you got I always keep a
toilet brush?
Yeah, well, I got one of I got two of them. I wear a holster. So, Ashley, it's funny that you say you could never have sex with that. That would also change all of my feelings toward that person. And I have a buddy, I'm sure I've told this before, who he thought maybe he could never love his wife again after what he saw, what she left in a toilet.
Oh, is that bad?
He pulled me aside, and it was like one of those conversations where even though we were alone, he was still kind of whispering, and he got a little emotional.
Oh, poor guy.
She just left this mass. And he said after seeing it, I don't know if I can love her anymore.
You shouldn't have to see something like that. No.
We're getting into, or some construction workers are texting saying that you always put down toilet paper in a freshly cleaned porta potty so you don't get Smurf butt.
Oh! I've heard of that because I've spent a lot of time in porta potties. I've heard of Smurf ass.
I never have. That makes so much sense.
All right, so this lady, God be with you. No, you're not overreacting. I would, like I think somebody already said, I'd like to hear more on where does this relationship go now?
And
you can continue to kiss and hug and hold hands and make love to this boyfriend after learning what he does in the bathroom?
Because I think for me, outside of picturing that, and of course that would have to come up every single argument you ever have.
Yes.
But outside, I'd wonder, well, what else is going on? What other kind of decisions are being made that I'm not aware of?
Also, brilliant that you saw that angle, Josh. Absolutely. If this is what this guy does for a deuce, what does he do with other random activities? That's not the word activities. What does he do for other random bodily functions is the word I was looking for. Does he pee in his front pocket?
Like, I'm wondering, is this something he's done since he was a kid? And it's just been his tradition? This is how he does it?
Did his mother used to beat on him if he made too much noise in the bathroom? Where did this come from?
Or his sisters, has all sisters or
Yeah,
something?
does he do it in public bathrooms?
When he would streak the toilet as a kid, he'd get the belt or something like that. Where did this torture come from? What kind of abuse was going on behind closed doors that this is the way you operate as a 36-year-old? Can I tell you something else on the topic? I've seen somebody do this.
What? As a joke?
No.
Were they drunk?
No, you didn't. Why?
Wildly, beyond wildly, almost fatally intoxicated. Oh, and they did not have their hand underneath to catch it. They were just going to let the floor catch it. Oh. It was terrible.
Oh, I'd kick him in the face.
I was going into their bedroom.
You got them red-handed.
Late at night. Late. Almost morning. On a day very much like today, John. And I had to go into their bedroom, and when I opened the door, there was something blocking the door. What the hell? Because there's no lock on this door. What's going on in here? And I finally forced my way in, and there was a grown person, near fatally intoxicated again, squatting and making a poo pile on the floor of their bedroom.
Oh, man.
I've never.
Did you stay for that?
Just what's the exciting
grand finale.
conclusion?
As long as I had to in order to figure out what it was I was looking at.
I need to see how the story ends.
What was it, like a dog? Did they make eye contact when you made it through the door?
Their eyes, Wapple? You're wondering about their eyes?
Yeah.
Lifeless eyes. Like a doll's eyes. Josh, we've done the feces thing. We've had that discussion. Where do we go from here? Can you check the morning radio handbook?
Well, certainly sex talk would be on the list.
What's the natural transition? Over to sex?
Yeah, maybe bragging about something.
Bragging. That doesn't come natural to me.
Something about, like overconfidence? No. Maybe talking about a rock star you met. I'm trying to go through the
I've met a lot of rock stars. Talk about your motorcycle. We've done that.
All your tattoos.
What's up with this? How about this? We'll close out the show. What's up with this young kid who can't find a proper place to masturbate? Have you heard about this kid?
Yeah, it's weird that anybody would ever post something that, well, you could say that about a lot of topics nowadays, but first and foremost, this has never happened in real life. Nobody's ever not been able to find a place. And you're just like looking for masturbation material, right? He's going to get off on people's responses to what he's asking.
What's the matter with the young kids, Josh? I hear what you're saying. Speaking of letters written for social media, you just send a question out there. Doesn't matter what it is. Then you have complete strangers respond, and then you live by that. That's how the young folks do it. So let me read you this one. It's apparently a young kid who just can't find the proper place or a proper place to masturbate. I'm a freshman in the dorms going to college somewhere. I'm a freshman. I live in the dorms. One of my roommates, it's close quarters in those dorms, isn't it, Josh?
Oh, yeah. I lived in one for a while.
Yeah, my buddies did. I remember the first time I walked into their dorm room, the first thing out of my mouth was, this is it? This is a couple of bunk beds and a tiny little television? You guys really got to live like this? It looked miserable. It looks terrible.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Our beds were, did you? I did love living in the dorm. It was fun. But you're right. I mean, our beds were on the opposite side of the room, but if we wanted to reach out, we could hold hands.
Yeah.
And we did.
Well, I'm sure, I mean, Dana, I'm sure you love the college life and being away from mom. I'm talking specifically about the setting. My God, you're just tripping over each other all day long. You can't even crack a fart without someone.
I go crazy.
So this kid's a freshman at a dormitory. He says, one of my roommates is an international student who just skips class and plays League of Legends in our dorm room. 16 hours a day he's in there. Jeez. He even gets his groceries delivered, and he eats all of his meals at his little desk in the dorm room. He literally never leaves the room for more than, say, 5 minutes, 10 minutes if he decides to shower.
Bruh.
Sounds like an awful roommate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So here's where the kid is going with this. Aside from my room, the only other place that I thought I could masturbate is the shared bathrooms.
Oh, no.
But whacking one loose on the public shower floor seems so disgusting
For him.
and heinous.
He's got morals. I like that.
It's been like 3 weeks. At this point, I can literally feel a pressure whenever I sit down.
Oh.
And then he goes ahead and just dumps this question out to all the other kids at his college. Does anyone know a place I can go to masturbate? Seriously. That's the end of the letter.
Poor kid just needs to get the poison out.
Oh.
Well, now that you've heard, who's got some advice for him?
Your car.
Yeah, but I was thinking he probably doesn't have a car.
Oh, dark corner of a library.
You take your car to a stranger's driveway in the middle of the night. You make sure the interior light is on, and you get the poison out.
That doesn't sound right.
Maybe like a gas station with a single toilet that the door can lock.
If he won't,
there you go.
Wapple, if he won't do it in the public dorms.
Yeah.
Oh, true. I mean, he's in college.
He probably won't do it at the Chevron gas station.
You know what?
There's somebody around there that'll take care of that for him, I'm sure. It's just like an all-boys college.
See, again, you miss the simplest answer sometimes. Try and find a willing partner.
Yeah.
That's probably the way to go.
What?
Yeah.
You know how much work that can be for some people?
That's true.
It's not even it's gonna be like 5 minutes of his life too. Not even once he finally finds somebody.
3 weeks of build-up.
It's just stupid.
Here, Steelers fan Jesus said he should just squat over the toilet and catch it.
Oh, no.
Now, that's a callback joke right there.
I remember the first time I heard a guy claim he was suffering from MSB, massive sperm buildup. I I thought it was. That's about the reaction I gave him too.
Just no, it's funny.
Yeah, but I still remember it for some reason because I'd never heard it before.
I've never heard that referred to it that way either.
Masturbate responsibly, I think, is a message we should close out with.
Yeah, and you know what? Take a hint. Just when you're around someone that wants to masturbate, give them their privacy so they can masturbate.
Just ask nicely. Can I have 10 minutes just alone with the laptop?
It's an unbelievable world that we live in.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X half-assed morning show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast.
I'm also saying the record's going to go down.
I'm saying the record's going down anyway. The guy.
I don't think you're off on this at all. Like, you're spot on here. I don't think this is an overreaction because we have no idea what we're reacting to.
Come react or overreact with us.
Overreaction Monday. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It's game over.
Over, man. Half-assed morning show. 93X.
Some of you clowns work out in a gym, right?
Yeah.
In theory. I mean, I pay for a membership.
That's how it goes. You are a gym's wet dream.
I know. I went to the gym the other day for the first time. It'd been a couple months. And I pull the app up. They scan, the little thing on the app. And the lady goes, about a month and a half or 2 months ago, we got an app update. So you need to re-download the app to get the updated app. So right off the bat, I get shamed by the person because I'm using an old-ass app that they've stopped using months ago.
Dana, I'll make you feel better. When I met my boyfriend, there was a gym that he used to go to, and he went to go there to cancel his membership, and they weren't there anymore. They moved locations.
It was like a Von Hansen's now.
I have a buddy. He goes to the gym 3 times a week, but what he does is he goes in to scan that he was there so he gets some benefit with insurance.
Yeah.
I used to have a job like that, and I would do the same thing. I would sometimes, honestly, I would go and scan the app, and then I would go straight to get buffalo wings or something extremely unhealthy for me.
Ashley and Dana are gym members. So what does a gym membership cost these days?
Mine is only $20, and it includes some tanning, too. So it's a pretty good deal.
$20 a month?
Yep. So at that place, you could get in there for $10 a month, couldn't you?
Yes.
If you didn't have the tanning.
Mm-hmm.
Is that very cheap? $20? That's really cheap.
Yeah. Compared to some of the nice fancy boutique gyms nowadays, that's a deal.
Not even the boutique ones. Some of the bigger ones, you could spend over $100 easy, and they have tiered memberships, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane.
Would you guys enjoy the chance at a free membership?
Yes.
Sure.
All right.
Save some money.
And I'll even throw in some tanning sessions, Ashley. I will. I'll throw in some tanning
I'll
sessions.
take a free anything for the most part.
Yeah?
Yeah, seriously.
Here's one way to get a free membership at one gym. And they advertise how to get a free membership by a sign on the door. And it says here, bust the P guy, win a free 1-year membership. The P guy, P-E-E.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if I want to tangle with the P guy.
Here's how to win. Here's all you got to do, Dana. You don't got to wrestle the guy to the ground or anything. Whenever you're in the restroom, they say, just poke your head in the sauna and look for someone peeing in it. Tell the front desk the time of day and a description of the dirt bag, and you win a free membership.
Perfect.
There's someone in the sauna, Josh, taking a whiz.
Yeah, I bet that smells pretty bad.
Ashley, do you pee in the sauna?
No.
Just the pool, the shower.
Definitely not. I used to work at a gym, and we had a pee girl there. She would just pee in the trash cans, in the changing rooms.
Oh.
Because she was too impatient to go to the restrooms. It made no sense.
Well, was it impatience, or did she have some kind of phobia of toilet seats? Did you really find out?
I didn't really dig into it. I stopped working there by the time they confronted her, but she was like, she had got a bunch of warnings.
She was known?
I think she stopped. Yeah, everybody knew it was the pee lady.
This person says they pay $450 a month for a family of 5.
Whoa.
Oh, my Lord.
What the hell?
That better be nice. You better be getting free massages and stuff.
Does that include tanning, Josh?
Yeah, it better include
That
tanning.
probably includes a little bit of everything.
All you have to do.
Well, some of them aren't even called gyms anymore. They're, dang it.
Like health clubs?
No, it's not
like
even a
that?
health club. There's, shoot.
That was
like a wellness club. I can't remember.
Sure,
There's
lifestyle wellness.
My wife will know. She works in the industry.
in the 80s, Josh, they hung the title of health club on it.
Yeah.
They took gym out of the mix and went with health club. Unless, of course, all you have there are a bunch of weights, then they still call it a gym.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're on to something there, Josh.
Yeah,
There's
just text her to ask.
Like a lot of things these days, they've polished it up with a new name.
Well, because they're changing it, right? It's like somebody who has a membership to a golf course. It's not just about the golf. It's the socializing and all the other kind of stuff that goes along with it.
That country club type lifestyle.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is now. Like, you got your cafes and work areas, and, it's like kind of a place to hang out.
And some have bars, too. Like, you can get a beer at the gym.
That doesn't seem right, but I would love that. I would take advantage of that.
This gym's got a problem. A dude goes into the sauna, takes a squeege, and the joint's gone as far as to offer a free membership if you can put the finger on him.
I wonder if they caught him. By now.
It's very possible. All right, a couple more signs that I came across in this here article. Signs out front, different companies that are pretty interesting. Here's a sign, Josh, taped up to the window at a massage parlor. I say we get a massage one of these days, me and you. What do you think?
Very rarely have I have had one, I didn't like it.
Here's the sign. Me too. We've told those stories. They're very painful. Be careful what you ask for when it comes to massages. Okay, here's the sign.
Don't get a sports massage unless you're,
No.
An
you're a
athlete?
masochist.
They try to kill you. They try to kill you with the sports massage. Okay, here's the sign. Massage only. No extras. No happy endings. Please stop asking. You can't help it. Some of us can't help ourselves, right?
They probably get that a lot.
Yeah.
You gotta ask. Is this, you're laying there, you're getting your little massage. You can't help but think, I wonder if this is one of those joints that'll HJ a player before I get out of here.
I did wonder that in the one I had.
What's that?
I wondered that.
Did you?
Yeah, it wasn't something I requested or vocalized, but I did wonder, is this one of those places where they do this?
Mm-hmm. I was at a bar one afternoon.
It was called Handy's.
I was at a bar one afternoon. A guy walked in and said, where does a guy get a rub and a tug in this town? Okay, here's a sign. What do you think of this? Okay, Ashley, you worked in the restaurant business for a while as a waiter.
Mm-hmm.
Dana, you used to work at joints like, say, when you were a kid, you were working at the Mall of America at the Fun House. What do they call that joint?
Well, it's now Nickelodeon Universe, but when I was there, it was Camp Snoopy.
You ran some of the scam games.
Yeah, the rigged games with the crooked rims and overinflated basketballs. Yep, that was me.
Taking cash.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, you would take cash when you were working at the, well, I guess I worked at a convenience store for a few months when I was a kid. What do you think of this policy out front of, I'm assuming it's a convenience store? Money pulled out of anywhere other than your purse or pocket or wallet will not be accepted.
No bra cash?
I like that.
For example, bra, socks, underpants, etc.
I used to work at a bank, and that would be an issue.
Oh,
People
you get
would.
The sweaty bra money?
Yep, so much sweaty bra money, or money that just reeked like weed. Like that, they would pull out of like a plastic baggie. I'm like, all right, this is specific, a very specific amount underneath the amount that I have to report. Okay.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Money pulled out of anywhere other than your purse, pocket, or wallet will not be accepted. No bras, socks, underpants, etc. Oh, yeah.
I I guess it depends on whose bra, but yeah.
That used to happen quite a bit when I worked at a deli.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it was right next to a gym.
Oh.
So like there'd be sports bras that have a couple bucks coming out of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
I remember the first time I thought, and I was a young man, I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. But it gets kind of gross.
Yeah, I used to do that when I was younger, but I stopped.
Put cash there?
Yeah, I think I stopped when I got into maybe even high school. I thought, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, I think in junior high when I'd walk around town in the summertime, when you're just wearing a pair of cut-off sweats or something like that, and I was a greasy little kid. A lot of times I'd just go around town just with a pair of cut-off sweats on. I remember putting my money in a sock and then handing it to the dude at the convenience store for a friggin' Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I never imagined how gross that experience must have been for the guy on the other end. Dana makes a good point. Depends on the bra. Depends on the underwears, maybe. Right, Josh?
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
By the way, Plywood Jesus has texted in about where does the guy get a rub and a tug in this town? He says that's from the movie Mystery Alaska, a terrible movie with Mike Myers. I'll agree that's a terrible movie, but I heard that line way before Mike Myers and Mystery Alaska became our problem.
I knew that, too, that it was from Mystery Alaska, but I didn't want to bring it up.
Oh, that is such a horrible, brutal, awful. All right.
I never saw it. Did they ever solve the mystery?
They did, yes. It ended up being the old man who owned the amusement park. They pulled a mask off of it, and it was him.
It always is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, I hated that movie. And it included Burt Reynolds, and I love Burt Reynolds. Yeah. Even he couldn't save that garbage pile.
Wasn't that the one with Gladiator?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So really, it wasn't good.
Oh, I terrible. Absolutely terrible.
But I never laced up a pair of hockey skates, so I can't speak to the authenticity of it at all, as Nick can.
Well, there were some guys out there that obviously knew how to play, and there were others who obviously did not, and Russell Crowe was one of them, and it was frustrating to watch. Okay, another sign, interesting sign, at a cemetery. Josh and I both come from families who oddly enjoyed spending time, real time, at cemeteries. Sit down and have lunch.
Yeah, bring lawn chairs.
Park the car.
Yep.
Right next to your dead relatives. What do they call this thing again? Headstone. Bust out the lawn chairs, have a few beers.
Yeah.
I never understood that gimmick, but here's a sign out front of a cemetery that says sunbathing and barbecues are not allowed in the cemetery.
Oh.
Please show some respect.
Don't sunbathe. Oh, my gosh.
There's a line.
So sorry about your loved one. How'd they pass? Oh, skin cancer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Yeah, I always found that gimmick to be really strange.
Never saw anybody bring a grill.
No. We would have sandwiches and coolers. It's a Catholic thing. Maybe it's an Irish thing, because we both come from Irish families. But there was a stretch of time in the 80s and into the 90s where we would go visit some relatives and then hit the cemetery in town because a lot of our dead relatives were there. And then we'd just hang out all day long.
What in the world?
It's stupid.
Dude.
Get me out of here.
That's so crazy, actually.
How am I supposed to enjoy a bologna and cheese sandwich with all these carcasses everywhere?
I
didn't get it. Beer tasted funny. And one more sign. This is not out front of a company, but just in the neighborhood. Wow, wouldn't this be exciting to see this sign in your neighborhood? Wife caught husband cheating. Everything must go yard sale. And then the address.
Oh, fun.
I wonder if that's a bit or legit.
You never know.
Pulling a prank on somebody?
I'd have to see.
Or just they're being funny about their yard sale.
Yeah. Being funny,
okay.
Trying to draw some more people in. You know.
I could see going just to find out what the deal was.
Hey, man, what happened? Wife caught husband cheating. Everything must go yard sale.
Maybe go say what up to the wife, too.
Yeah.
Heard you're recently single.
Why not make that move? Someone's got to be the first to do it.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
He's a very helpful man, and he's all ours, here to help our listeners. If, in fact, they're feeling a little funny one way or the other, Dr. P. Jesus, Dr. James Parnell is here to field your question. Hello, and how are you, Dr. P?
I'm great. I am here to help. That's how I think of it.
Yeah.
Well, you're a very helpful guy.
Try to be helpful.
Damn well are here to help, and plenty of questions have already been texted in for you.
Really? Okay.
But before we, get to our listening audience, anything going on, any news, anything good, bad, can we help you with anything before you are so helpful with everybody else?
I don't think so.
You need anything to drink, eat?
No, I think I'm good. No, life's good. Just kind of getting ready for holidays. Probably do a little a little drive out to Ohio to see the family.
Oh, yeah. Was that a fun drive?
Oh, it's great.
Did Josh tell you that Ohio is now a young person's slurm for just all things terrible?
I have not heard that, but
Isn't that right? Did I get that right, Josh?
Yeah, Ohio.
And I hesitate to agree with it, but I
He
will
says,
agree with it.
Josh says anytime something sucks, the young people just refer to it as Ohio.
That's kind of rude, but I, God bless Ohio, but I wouldn't go there unless my family happened to live there.
Oh, really? So I forget. Did you grow up there? Or
I didn't. No.
Your family just lives there for some
my
reason?
brother ended up going to college in Ohio and met his wife, and so
Not Ohio State, was it?
Yeah, not
wasn't
the Ohio State.
It was not?
He went to the College of Worcester.
Worcester.
That's not even real.
I know it doesn't sound real.
Oh, no.
It doesn't even count.
Wait,
Yep.
so your brother moved there?
He moved there, then he got married, had kids, and my parents moved there to be near the grandkids.
Ah, okay, that's better.
Yeah, so no.
That's good, because I
none
was
of
a
us are
little
from
worried that you were not the favorite.
That's
But
true.
if he's got kids, what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's what happens.
Oh, well, I was perfectly happy that they moved where he was.
Oh,
You
darn,
appreciate
you're
that?
leaving. Oh.
Well, no, I grew up on the East Coast, so.
Now they're his problem. Your folks are his problem, your brother's problem.
Yes, and
Thank
have
you.
been for many years.
Thank you again for coming in,
Yeah.
Dr. P. Let's get to a question here real quick. Here's a listener that says they've received a diagnosis of RCVS. Do you know what that is, RCVS? Maybe if I explain a little further, it'll come to you. They're fearful that it will come back after treatment. I'm scared. It's painful and frightening. I know it is reversible, but I'm terrified it'll come back, and I'm already dealing with problems. So RCVS, I mean, this very well could be someone playing with me, and I'm not bright enough to notice it. Well, we'll put that on the back burner.
I'm looking it up really quick because that is not an acronym I am familiar with.
Okay. Put it on the back burner.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it later.
Yeah, we can come back to it.
All right, fair enough.
I'll have to read a little bit because it's not something I don't think I've ever heard of it actually.
Okay.
Hooker Grandma Shegis has texted in and said menopause is kicking her ass.
Oh.
What are some good supplements that don't contain, and I hope I pronounce this correctly, black cohosh? Is that correct?
That is one of the things that is used. I don't know exactly what it is, but I've recommended it to people before.
Oh, you have?
Menopause.
So she wants natural things.
Yeah, she wants something that doesn't contain that, something you might recommend.
Oh, boy. I mean, the problem is I tend to know more of the prescription things. I mean, the ultimate treatment, if it's something that a woman is interested in and after discussing with her doctor it feels safe, I mean, you can do hormone replacement therapy. Hormone replacement therapy, so estrogen and progesterone, if you still have a uterus, because you need both. If you have had a hysterectomy, you only need estrogen. And the hormone replacement used to be kind of just standard of care because women were miserable. And so it was given, and then there was a study that came out maybe, boy, I've been around too long now, maybe 20 years ago, that raised concern about the increased risk of heart disease if you did hormone replacement therapy. But honestly, it was this huge study, but the way it was sort of done probably led to some misleading stuff. Misleading concern that essentially made all of us stop doing hormone replacement therapy for women for fear that we were going to give them heart disease. That has turned around a bit. So it is definitely worth talking with your doctor about. There are reasons why you don't want to do it, but it can help women feel better. It can help keep their bones stronger. And there's not great evidence that for the average risk person, it's going to increase that risk of heart disease to the extent that it might not be worth it to the person. So there's that. There's an antidepressant that can be used, not Wellbutrin. Why am I completely blanking? Effexor is a serotonin norepinephrine medication that can help with those hot flashes. And then, all of the other sort of over-the-counter things like that black cohosh, I don't know that they really do much.
It's a hell of a deal, that menopause.
It is, and it seems to...
Sounds pretty miserable.
Yeah, some women
Can't wait.
seem to get through it without too much trouble, and some are absolutely miserable. And so I guess, I think that's, again, where it's worth at least considering the hormone replacement therapy.
I remember once we were at a show with my mom, and I had thought maybe she took a dip in a pool on her way back from the bathroom. I'd never seen so much sweat on a person. She was dying. She was so miserable.
I work with a woman who basically has a little portable fan that as soon as she starts to feel it coming on, she just, she's working and holding this fan on herself just to try to get it to pass quicker.
God, that's
a special on menopause hosted by Oprah Winfrey has played on my television at my house.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
it was a specific special on menopause hosted by Oprah Winfrey.
I suspect there was all sorts of good information.
Okay, our listener has gotten back to us, the one who texted in right away about RCVS. And here's what she sent in. She has more information. Reversible cerebral vasoconstriction syndrome causes sudden severe thunderclap headaches and other disruptive brain symptoms. The symptoms often resemble those of medical emergencies like strokes and such. If this is something you still haven't, it's still not ringing a bell with you, again, we can wait till we'll take a commercial break. In a while, you can look it up and offer up your best advice. But I just wanted to throw it out there.
I mean, we can talk about it quick. It is.
Go ahead.
Again, it is. I think it's a pretty unusual condition, but there's a similar thing where people can have vasoconstriction of the coronary arteries to the heart, where people will get episodes that, for all intents and purposes, seem like a heart attack. I mean, they're having terrible pain. They can even have enzymes that show up in the blood that suggest that you're having blockage and a heart attack. But it's just because the blood vessels are spasming. And so this is essentially the same kind of thing but unfortunately in the brain, where, I mean, you don't want those blood vessels to spasm and decrease flow, because it could cause all sorts of things like terrible headaches, but also stroke-like symptoms. It looks, I mean, what I'm seeing here, just again, looking it up quick, is you kind of have to manage it the same way you do that heart condition, where you're kind of controlling blood pressure. There are some medications that maybe can help dilate blood vessels. I'm not sure. I mean, honestly, things like Viagra could be used. I'm not positive that's used with this, but Viagra is for erectile dysfunction originally, but it is used in a number of conditions where people need to have medicine to help dilate blood vessels.
Right.
So
okay, that's very helpful. This individual was saying that she is receiving or has already received treatment. She's a little worried it's going to come back.
Yeah, at least what I'm seeing is it's like that heart condition. I don't think we understand why some people get it. They're unusual things. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something similar to or correlated with like a migraine history. It sort of sounds like there's a number of things that are migraine-like, which involves vasoconstriction that can be unusual. So this is the kind of case you're going to be working with significant specialists, neurologists and cardiologists.
Sure.
How about this? A couple butt-related questions, both related
Now
to
we're talking.
hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
There's two different texts.
You could maybe answer these questions, Josh.
Oh, it's possible.
Yeah. Hemorrhoid-related questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
I've had some experience. I think I'm good now, though. This person says...
You should probably check.
Well, let's take a look.
You guys are welcome to check.
Ooh-wee.
How do I know if I have a hemorrhoid?
How does he know if he has a hemorrhoid?
That's one person. Another person said, how serious are external hemorrhoids? That probably depends on where they are.
It'll probably kill your rodeo
It's
career.
on your face.
Yep.
On your face.
Oh, on your face.
Hemorrhoids on the face.
Bad.
Yeah. Okay, how do you know if you have one? That's an interesting question. I mean...
Someone's going to have to take a look, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Was it somebody on this
close
show?
Friend.
Was it somebody on this show or a story I heard somewhere else where somebody had to take a picture of it to send to their doctor?
I never had to do that.
I don't know that one.
Okay, that must have been somewhere else.
That would be unusual.
Must have been butt talk somewhere else in my life.
I did have a doctor request a D-pic, and I think it was professional.
You think it
Did
was
he actually
professional.
call it that?
It was a she.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, this was a
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's how that photo got on
Was
Reddit.
she your doctor, or she just was a
She
doctor
was
you knew?
a doctor that I went to see. So yeah,
Okay.
I didn't feel comfortable with that.
No, that's very. It seems like a strange request.
This was during COVID, meaning
Oh,
they
you couldn't
weren't
go in and
really
be seen.
having
Okay.
people go in.
Well, then it might have been appropriate.
So first off, how do you know when you have a hemorrhoid? You
so-
got to have someone take a look.
Well, I mean, so there's internal hemorrhoids, external hemorrhoids, and internal ones. Basically, they're above what's called the dentate line, which is the line where, like on the outside of the butt, you have skin that has sensation as you move your way into the anus and into the rectum.
I'll cross that line.
I will not cross that
the
line. I was
dentate
just going to
line.
say I will
But
not cross it.
When you cross that line, you don't have the same sort of sensation. So you can have a dilated vein in there that will bleed and be irritated, but it won't hurt. So internal hemorrhoids, it's a little harder to know. If you have bleeding when you poop, that's probably the most common sign. External hemorrhoids are much more obvious. They're below that dentate line, so they get irritated and itchy and can hurt, and you basically feel like a lump right on the outside.
God
It
dang.
could be tiny. It could be so the size of a pea. It could be the size of a grape.
What did I sit on an M&M?
Yeah, I mean, and if you get an acute clot in it, so a thrombosed hemorrhoid, it could be the size of a golf ball and hurting.
A golf ball.
So
I had mine banded when I had them.
So that's usually, that's internal hemorrhoids.
Is that what that is? That was internal?
You can't band an external hemorrhoid because it's going to be excruciatingly
Too painful.
Yeah. Let's see. So the questions were, how do I know? And then
Something about
How bad's an external one?
Well,
if there's one that you have to have, is one better than the other, or does it not make a difference?
Internal doesn't hurt, and they don't get. They can cause some itchiness if they're actually like hanging out.
You said itchiness?
Itchiness.
It's a terrible thing.
Yeah, just like a constant sense of itch.
Yeah.
They can get itchy.
Yeah, internal's probably a little easier to deal with because the external ones, again, you can get a clot in there. Sometimes you got to have a procedure, but then you end up with this extra skin tissue. It's hard to clean yourself. It's annoying.
Horrible.
Women who've had kids, they tend to end up with external hemorrhoids, and they're a real pain.
Yeah.
Add that to the list of things that women have to
Yeah,
deal
just
with.
another thing.
This
wow.
hasn't been fair to women today. Why does this stuff keep happening?
Yeah, what the heck?
I think there's plenty of women who would argue that's how it always is. There is a lot of stuff.
I guess I've only known dudes who admitted to having hemorrhoids. Ladies are more
I would think ladies would
apt
be
to keep that.
hesitant
I'm not going to bring that up at a bar.
Probably not.
Okay, real quick. We got to take a break here shortly, but one more question for Dr. P before we take that break. And it's a listener saying, I just found out I am borderline anemic. What can I do to reverse that, if anything?
So anemic means that you have low red blood cells in your circulating bloodstream. And that can be from a variety of reasons. Based on the tests that are done, you can tell are your red blood cells normal size? Are they small? Are they large? And depending on some of those things, it points us in the direction of, so if they're small, you're more likely to have like an iron deficiency anemia. If they're normal size, it could be a variety of things. If they're large, that's when someone's also has some different deficiencies, but more often associated with alcohol, where you get large red blood cells. So it kind of depends on what that showed. If a lot of women, maybe will need to be on iron replacement if their menstrual periods are heavy. That's probably the most common reason that people need iron replacement. If you have those large red blood cells, then there's something else going on with like vitamin B and folate. And again, if the red blood cell size is normal, then it's a little harder to figure out without doing some more tests.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's, sometimes people will be kind of right on the cusp of what's normal and not. And the main thing with that, unless there's something going on that obviously is a problem, you just repeat it maybe in a couple months and see if it's a pattern. If it's really hard to figure out, that's when you end up seeing a hematologist to basically,
blood doctors.
Basically, hematologists are the same people who are oncologists. They're just, the training goes together. But the ultimate thing would be to do a bone marrow biopsy.
Yikes!
If you're really having to dig into it, but that would be unusual.
Okay.
All
right, fair enough. And welcome back to the friggin' program. The Half-Assed Morning Show with Dr. PG's is in studio. He's handling questions about your beautiful bodies, your general health or lack thereof. We've had some really interesting stuff so far. Now, here's something else I've never heard of, Dr. P, but I bet you have. A listener says, we think our 15-year-old daughter has cold urticaria, a skin reaction to cold that appears within minutes after cold exposure. Are you familiar with that damn thing?
Cold urticaria.
Urticaria.
Yeah, familiar with it. It's not something I've seen a lot of, but yeah, it's a strange thing where, normally we think of urticaria being caused by exposure to allergens, in the environment or something that will make, because basically if you're exposed to something you're allergic to, the allergen kind of gets in through your nose or I guess through your skin, and you have cells in your body that will release histamine, and that's what causes itching.
Okay.
But for some reason, some people will get a thing where the temperature change causes that histamine release. So you start to get itchy just from the temperature.
Here's where they continue on.
Yeah.
She, like you were saying, you're right on. She gets itchy hives on her arms and legs. She has an appointment at the end of the month, but we have two questions. There's one question. The best over-the-counter medications to use: Benadryl, a topical cream. What would you recommend?
Boy, I would think Benadryl would be, it's basically, it's the most effective treatment, but it is also quite sedating. So it's probably best to try something like Allegra or Claritin or Zyrtec. Those are basically the non-sedating H1 antihistamines.
Okay.
Benadryl is a sedating antihistamine that it really, there's actually been studies on Benadryl where you may feel okay and not feel sleepy, but it actually does impair people's ability to think and drive.
Okay.
So,
That's good to know.
So,
Interesting issue there.
Yeah, really annoying too. And,
especially around here.
I can't say that I have seen too many people with that. I mean, I think there's some other unusual medications that allergists might end up using. But yeah, that's where you want to see an allergist and kind of figure out what's going on.
Cool.
But
so until then, you recommend those other ones you mentioned?
Yeah, I think, Allegra, I think, is probably the simplest one.
These folks hate winter.
That's too
pretty
bad.
The only people who hate it worse are possibly Raynaud's disease, where you, instead of itching, you get blood vessel spasm in maybe your fingers and toes. You get blue fingers and really cold and blanching and everything.
Wow.
Quite miserable.
Got a question here from a 14-year-old girl who says she feels like she might be overweight. What's the average weight for a 14-year-old who's 5 feet tall? I've been dieting. I'm 110 pounds. I ask because my grandma has been telling me I'm overweight.
Oh my gosh. That's great.
To me, that sounds like she's totally fine.
It sounds like she's absolutely perfect.
I wouldn't. It sounds.
Hey,
just
start
right.
pointing out some of your grandma's problems.
That's what I do too.
You're just a kiddo too.
Yeah, you're 14 years old.
Yeah, well, Grandma, you're going to be dead soon.
Yeah, I would drop that line for sure.
Give it to her, right, Ashley?
Yep.
You're uglier than hell, Grandma.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is frustrating.
What is she weighing?
110, 5 feet tall, 14-year-old.
No wonder Grandpa left you. That's what I'd say to Grandma.
Let's see, pounds. 14, 16, so basically, for adults, there's the body mass index classification, which is a simple calculation For kids, there is a variation on that, just because kids are growing, obviously. So I did that really quick.
Arithmetic.
Yeah, well, it's a calculator thing, just because I can't do that in my head. But she basically fits right into the healthy weight category.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a pretty standard thing. So she's 14. I mean, usually, you would have a freshman physical, probably, with your doctor, and they would be weighing you and giving you some feedback on stuff like that. But
my grandma tells me I'm overweight.
Yeah, that's maybe grandma's great. But
I get it.
I don't like grandma.
Grandma may be great, but she's not helping. Or she is helping possibly give this youngster a complex.
Yeah, you should say, don't you have an Oprah Winfrey menopause special to watch somewhere, Grandma?
Yeah, so it sounds like this girl is fine, and that's that's an important message for her to hear and hopefully to accept.
You want her to get a complex.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing girls need is to have negative body perception and image going on, especially these days, I think, with social media.
Especially at that age, 14. That was really rough. It was a rough age for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think girls are kind of mean to each other at that age, and
gosh, we're the worst.
Yeah, it's a really important time. So, no, she's doing okay.
You heard a doctor say it. All of us agree. Yeah. You're totally fine.
You're doing just fine.
Give Grandma a hug, say thanks, and then
don't get her anything for Christmas though.
Absolutely, some coal.
Just get
Here's
coal.
an interesting question for Dr. P. Jesus. Do you ever take on a side gig for cash where maybe you just work out of your garage or something?
Is that legal?
Are you asking me officially? No, of course not.
Can you see me wink at you right now?
Of course not. I have a van for that.
What do you think? Let's say you did that. What would be the most lucrative thing you'd see people for? Like where you could charge the most amount of money?
I would think like Botox could be good. I mean, you can make a lot of money fast.
Do you do that medically for any reason?
I don't.
Erection problems maybe be a good garage side gig?
I'll inject those with Botox too, even though it doesn't work.
He gets Botox.
No, I think erection problems that'd be like just passing out drugs and talking to people.
You don't think that would make you as much money as some other things?
I don't think so. I think because people with Botox, it's not covered by insurance for cosmetic reasons, and so they'll have their cash ready. Yeah. No, I don't have any training in it, but I could be trained in it. There are some primary care docs who dabble in that in their office, but generally not.
I'll bet a big one for you could be prescriptions. That'd be the way to go.
Well,
writing scripts.
You could. It's also a good way to lose your medical license.
Well, all of this is a good way.
I won't rat on you,
That's
Dr. P.
stupid. You should be able to write prescriptions.
I think Josh is right. Just straight up drugs.
Yeah.
That's what's going to make you the money. That we all should have known that answer.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's probably true. Again, it would lead to a very short career in
No, of course.
Well, yeah, this is hypothetical.
Yeah,
all of it is hypothetical.
I mean,
what's your address?
There was a time when that was probably more true, but most states, including Minnesota, now have prescription monitoring databases that really keep track of how much of what you're prescribing and who for, and if you're out of the normal, curve, you will be called forward.
That's probably good.
What's the
It's
most
very good.
What's the most fun prescription a doctor could write? If I was going to receive one, what's the one that
Flintstones vitamins?
I love those.
Those are whimsical, but
I mean, I think I think I've written a couple prescriptions. I'm just trying to think what it was for. There was something like for like a spouse to give to their spouse for a massage or something like that. It's essentially a joke, but written on a prescription.
Oh, cute.
Well, that's pretty funny.
And something else like that. Yeah, just sort of encouraging loving stuff between a couple or something.
You're a good man.
Now you're turning us on.
You are a good man, and you have aroused us all.
Excellent. That was my goal.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X half-assed morning show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
Actor Michael Rosenbaum, he knows some of the most talented people in the business, and now he's getting the inside story.
Let's get inside of Heather Graham. I can't look at like Boogie Nights and think that you were a nerd. Johnny Knoxville. You think you're going to do another Jackass movie? What do your kids want?
Dad's not going to do that. You got to be careful how you choose your heroes.
Hear from some of the most fascinating people in pop culture today.
Danny Trejo. You're a legend. Do you know you're a legend?
You can't be a legend having this much fun.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
Did you hear that some lady just woke up after a 13-year coma?
Yeah.
That's a long stretch right there.
Can you imagine not believing those people? No, I wasn't really out for it felt like just a split second. There's no way I was out for 13 years.
Yeah, you would think they were messing with you.
Does anyone know the details? Does this lady know who she is now that she's awake? Is she doing okay? Does she remember? Anyone know all I know is that this lady woke up from a 13. That, number one, is mind-blowing. 13 years this gal was out cold. So does she know what the hell gives?
I didn't see. That's a good question. I mean, all the articles just talked about, hey, this person's aunt woke up from 13 years, and then they talked about the questions she had, like, well, what's been going on? And then they had to tell some pretty big stuff.
Yeah, there was a pandemic.
Yeah, you know what a pandemic? Have you ever heard of COVID?
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if they were going through like the way the world is now, and like all the crap, I'd be like, just put me out. Put me out next time.
I'll keep napping. Actually, I'm good. I think.
As awful as 13 years of your life wiped out by a powerful nap. She picked a good chunk of time to sleep through. The last 4 or 5 years specifically have been miserable. Does anyone know what caused this? Was it a car wreck or something?
There's really not much information.
Next to nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just came from one guy who was just excited and announced that he goes, hey, this is amazing. My aunt just woke up from a 13-year coma.
Is he playing games with us? Wow, that's a hell of a story. 13 friggin' years.
Let's just imagine that, though.
Hell, 13 years ago, Ashley, you were in friggin' middle school.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I was graduating high school at that time.
2011.
Yep.
That's a long time ago. I'd love to hear more information if it's all a true story.
As much as I wish my dad was still around, obviously, there are times I thought, I'm glad he didn't have to see this, various news items over the last, decade since he's passed, or 11 years now.
Yep.
That kind of thing, it's like a little silver lining.
Yeah, I hear you on that. My old man checked out coming up on a year ago, so he experienced some of these things that you're referencing, Josh. And let me just tell you, maybe your old man would have had the same reaction. Some of the bizarro, just horrible things that have been happening over the last 4 or 5 years. And things like the conspiracy theories that people believe and the violence, the meaningless violence. I'll just tell you this, Josh, and maybe your dad would have had the same reaction, and maybe this would make you feel a little bit better about him experiencing these things. My old man was just confused. He just didn't understand how people operate. That was more his reaction. It wasn't sadness or anger at what was going on. He just didn't get it. Like, why grown folks are doing this? That was more his reaction.
Yeah, I think my dad would have been more just like kind of sad, disappointed where things were. But, I would have liked his take on stuff. He had some wise dad stuff to say. Probably would have made me feel a little better during those times. But
13 years this gal was out cold, supposedly. In 2011, when this gal went to sleep, that was back in the time when Charlie Sheen went mental with all that talk about tiger blood.
Oh, my God.
Just to bring you back to 13 years ago, that was back when Charlie Sheen was just smooth out of his mind and doing the tiger blood winning gimmick, which was everywhere. That was everywhere, wasn't it, Josh?
So annoying.
Winning.
Imagine that was like the last thing she remembers after, before she went into the coma, and she asked, so is Charlie Sheen still like the biggest star on the planet? No, not so much. That kind of died out pretty quickly after.
Oh, I still consider Charlie Sheen one of the biggest stars on the planet. I love 2.5 Men.
Charlie Sheen considers himself one of the biggest stars on the planet.
I spent some time with that show, Two and a Half Men, and even though you saw every joke coming, I still enjoyed the hell out of he and that little scrawny guy, Cryer, John. 2011, Josh, you probably remember this because you're a big fan. The Oprah Winfrey Show played out its final episode in 2011.
It was emotional.
Oh. You got to, am I making that up? I thought you actually liked her program there for a while.
Oh, yeah. When we were kids, we'd watch Oprah.
You get a car. You get a car.
Well, see, I never got involved with her during that. I've heard that punchline over and over again. I wasn't involved with Oprah Winfrey when she did the "You Got a Car" thing, and then Tom Cruise played with himself live on her show at one point. I go back to when she first started. She was just one of those let's get shocking, disgusting people on stage type television hosts. She had no choice when she first started to fall in line with that gimmick. Here's a two-headed guy. Here's a couple who are married, but they're brother and sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my grandma used to watch. Well, we watched pretty much during the day whatever grandma watched, and she watched Oprah, and she's America's treasure.
So Oprah Winfrey is America's treasure.
Her and Kelly Clarkson.
So I didn't see Oprah in her more mature phase. I was there in the 80s when she first started. I mean, I watched Oprah Winfrey when she had Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley from Kiss on the show just to tell sex stories to the crowd, And all the women in the audience had to act like they were so offended and disgusted by these stories of sex on the road and whatnot.
Can you imagine if this aunt wakes up, she's like, hey, can you tell me what happened? What's going on with my favorite newscaster, Matt Lauer? Is he still dominating the morning shows?
Tell me
what happened to Bill Cosby?
Well, Bill Cosby was before that.
Okay.
Yeah. What about my favorite Hollywood producer, Harvey Weinstein? Yeah. Is he still making great movies?
Oh, my God.
Refresh my memory on the Matt Lauer thing.
Well, he got kicked out of morning TV for some sexual misconduct allegations.
Yep.
Oh, yeah? It rings a bell.
Supposedly he had, in our boss's office, the big boss, have you ever seen this? She has a button that'll close the door. Right, it releases the magnet that holds the door open.
Okay.
She does? Wow.
Yeah,
it's fancy.
And he supposedly had one of those that, there'd be a hot intern in there, he'd close that and say, what do you think of Matt Lauer's penis? That kind of thing.
Yeah, he pulls junk out.
Yeah, that was
Is that
heartbreaking.
right?
That was a heartbreaking thing.
So it's heartbreaking for you?
Yeah, I grew up watching him on the news. So,
Well, I did
yeah,
too, but I wasn't emotionally attached to the guy.
Matt Lauer. I remember the name. Now that you bring it up, it sounds familiar. 2011, the last time we're talking about this lady who supposedly just cut loose out of a coma after 13 years. 13. The old joke. Still love it. We're talking about some of the things that maybe she last remembers when she was awake in 2011. It says here, Kim Kardashian was fresh off her divorce to that local dude, Chris Humphries.
Oh, Humphries.
It's a long time ago.
God. Oh, here's a good one from Naughty Insurance Agent Jesus. I see they're still making Star Wars movies. Han Solo, will he lead the next one? How's he doing? How's Han Solo?
He gone. Netflix had a great response to this tweet, because at some point in the last 13 years, they fully transitioned to just streaming service. They responded, she can keep the DVDs.
Well, I'll be damned. That is a hell of a story. And like I said, I'd like to hear more details on this lady. How did she get into a coma? What does she know now that she's come to? Does she recognize her family? Does she know who the hell she is?
If you woke up from a 13-year coma, would you assume that your spouse stayed faithful to you and was waiting for you to wake up, or would you assume they moved on?
That would be one of my first questions. Like, how many guys has she hooked up with, and how long did it last? Was I in a coma for more than a couple weeks, or when did it start?
Yeah, exactly. 48 hours into it, she's like, he'll be down for a while.
The sad thing is he probably did leave because I think like the statistic for men like leaving when their woman gets sick is like insanely high.
The statistics on men who leave their wives when their wives are sick?
Yeah,
you do hear those stories about, a woman, has terminal cancer and the husband like immediately starts cheating on her.
Deuces.
It's not just men, though. I sneezed on Monday, and my wife filed for divorce yesterday.
We'll get
It was a sneeze, Ashley.
We'll
Just
get
one.
this.
I didn't know that men leave their wives when their wives are dying of cancer. That's a dark subject. It's funny you bring that up, Dana. What did you ask? If you woke up from a 13-year coma, would you assume your spouse was still there waiting for you?
Yes.
Is that basically what you said?
Yeah.
Some folks, when they heard this story on that godless social media, some folks, when they heard this story of the lady waking up from a 13-year coma, they asked some funny questions. Well, I guess I should say this. They made some funny statements on what they thought her first question would be after she woke up, or what might be the first things you'd say to her when she came to from a 13-year coma. I have to say that the great majority of these statements are not funny at all, but there was one. There was one. What would your first question be after waking up from a 13-year coma? And one dude said, did my wife hold out hope that I'd wake up, or did she become the town whore?
Either or, no in between.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
Let me tell you what's going on around here. Off air, don't you know? Josh and I were prepping ourselves for today's program over here like we do air day. And everything was playing out as usual until some dildo suddenly showed up. Cubby, why don't you tell folks about that dildo?
Well, you know what? I was warned, look out for the dildo.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened up a box today, unmarked. I mean, there's nothing on it. And I thought, well, what could this be?
You've been getting a lot of mail lately, and some of it's been very weird.
Yeah. Would you include this?
Yeah.
So we had a conversation about suction cup dildos. I didn't know it existed. I'd heard about the suction cup mount you could get for a fleshlight, and a gentleman could make love in the shower.
God help us all.
And then someone brought up a suction cup dildo, and I thought, what is this?
It's just a few days ago.
Yeah.
Just a few days ago. You weren't aware.
No, I hadn't seen one.
Of what ladies do in the shower and such with the suction. Go ahead. So what happened?
And so our buddy Jared, he sent me a suction cup dildo.
Brand new.
Look at that.
Ashley, look away. I want to show Dana and Wapple.
Yeah, I've seen one before.
Wait, do I have your consent to show you a suction cup dildo, Dana and Wapple? Ashley, look away.
Yes,
of course.
Yes, please.
All right, so here it is. Thank you,
Look
Jared.
at that thing. That's
Well,
beautiful.
you know what you got to do right away.
What's that?
Going back to what we were talking about a few days ago when we were teaching you about suction cup dildos. Dude, plant that thing on your forehead.
Yeah.
Forehead.
Forehead.
All right, here we go. It works.
It friggin' works.
I can't believe it works.
Oh, man.
I'm a dickhead.
Please go to Chipotle like that today.
I don't want to get arrested.
First time you've ever been a dickhead. Someone bring their cellular telephone with built-in camera over here. Take a picture.
Oh, I've got. Well, I can just do it on my own.
Oh, you do it a selfie?
This will be my first ever selfie.
Do we have your consent to put that on 93x.com? Can we put that?
I don't think we can. We can't put this on our
straight-laced bastards that run our website.
We could probably put it on Twitter.
Yeah, anything goes on Twitter.
All right, well,
It's
you
like
guys,
the Wild Wild West.
You guys know the rules. I don't understand the rules. We got to put a picture of you. Because
we're not going to be able to do that, unfortunately.
Not on Twitter?
No, company policy.
All right, fine. But that's a damn shame because that is a funny look that you've got right now. A few days ago when we were teaching them about what these things can do, I think I was the one who recommended you put it on your forehead and let the wife tear you to shreds.
I didn't think it was going to work.
It's still sticking perfect.
It's still perfect.
Okay, let's make a rule. You have to have that dildo suction cup to your bald forehead when Janelle Klein walks in here.
I can't. As long as somebody asks her before she walks in here if it's okay.
Yeah, we don't want to bother anybody, I guess. I forget how straight-laced we have to be these days.
Oh, poops and boxes, Jesus said he could hear that. I'm going to try it again.
You
Could you really?
The suction was great.
Hang on. Turn everything down for when he pulls it off of his head. Oh, you pulled it up.
Sorry. I jumped ahead.
Let's slap it down again.
I
Total
finished
silence
early.
now. Yeah.
All right, here we go. And it's stuck again.
That was beautiful.
Very good suction.
I like how you pulled it off and you still had a red ring on your forehead.
Yeah, be careful.
Hey, Doc, it's going to be a little uncomfortable to explain how I got a concussion this morning.
If that leaves you with a bruise on the middle of your forehead.
Oh, I got to go to a wedding this weekend.
Hell yeah, you do. You don't have to go to a wedding on Saturday.
It's Friday. It's a whole family weekend.
You don't have to go.
Starting with the wedding on Friday.
My boyfriend put like this thing that you can like suction cup to the window. It's like for babies, like those cute little spinning toys. He put one of those on his forehead for maybe like 30 minutes, Josh, and he had that red mark for like 3 days.
Oh,
so I'd be careful.
You know what? You mentioned it was a listener, Jared, who sent this to you. Thanks for listening, Jared. We've seen
He's one of the greatest.
We've seen him around town on and off for years. Yesterday we credited you, Josh, for being the great gift giver that you are. For my birthday, you gave me that finger bang drum machine, which I played at the house for hours last night, and the wife was thinking about shooting me.
I did text and apologize to her yesterday. She had actually a very funny response. I'll have to say it when you're done.
So we got to give Jared credit for his gift-giving abilities and listening so thoroughly to the program. And I'm telling you, this Jared guy must pay very close attention because the suction cup dildo that you have right now protruding out of your forehead, it perfectly matches your skin tone.
It does, yeah.
You almost have to...
If we have a pee test here and somebody has to watch, I want this specimen. I'm just going to pretend this is it.
Oh, if someone has to watch you pull a penis out of your pants.
I'd be proud of this thing.
Well, what a great gift.
Did you pull that out of a packaged box too?
Oh yeah,
I'll
show you. It's just an unmarked black box.
Where are you going with this, Waffle?
Well, I was like, hopefully it's not used.
No, it's brand new.
No, it was all sealed up.
Okay.
Jared doesn't like me that much.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
Look, Waffle, it shines. Yep. Look at the tip. It's shining.
I would have felt bad if it was just like an Amazon bag and then just the dildo in there.
Give Jared a little bit of credit, for Christ's sake.
Oh, Jared said, "Did you see how I addressed the package?" He texted. I might have.
He wrote you a funny note and you didn't know.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, don't put that thing back on your forehead. You're already developing a ring.
It kind of hurts. Well, I think I can. Listeners, do I have your consent to give you a description of what this is? So I'm giving you a second. If I do not have your consent, turn down the radio for a second. All right? 3, 2, 1. All right. This is a 7.5-inch realistic thick dildo, 1.8 centimeter, or excuse me, that'd be small, inch diameter. Soft dildos with curved shaft for vaginal, G-spot stimulation, and anal play. So how did he address that?
He wrote that to you?
No, that's what the...
So that's a very vivid description of a dildo.
Hang on
by
a
Jared.
second.
Oh, God, I can't read that.
Before I send this gift to Josh, I'd like to handwrite him a note as to what it does. What are you looking at now?
How he addressed it.
Oh.
It says... It says radio sensation Josh Bitney, and then it has our address on there. Stop that.
All right, so...
Now I'm a dildo.
Just like we were talking a few days ago when you first discovered suction cup dildos, you gotta get this sumbitch into the mix back at the house now.
She won't.
I recommended. Don't be such a defeatist.
I know for a fact if you're listening, babe, if you're listening, text me. She's not gonna go for it.
Oh, I forget that she listens to this show because I was gonna recommend that you go home from work today with that sumbitch and you blast it into the shower wall and just leave it there and see how she reacts.
Well, your godson uses that shower, our shower. So
well, put it wherever the godson doesn't go, you know. You're already saying no chance?
Well, we'll see what she says. So I
Jesus, live a little, will you, Mrs. Bitney?
Going back to, that's my mom's name. Don't do that. Going back to what you said about the drum machine, right?
Yes.
The little finger pad drum machine. So I said to your wife yesterday, I texted her and said, I'm not sure if you've been listening, but I was told I may owe you an apology. I'm sorry. And so she wrote back, better for him to tap that than all the whores.
She's wildly concerned about whores.
See, she still doesn't trust me. She thinks all they want to do is chase whores. Well, that's cute.
Have you proved her wrong yet?
I'm in the process.
It's a process. Is it a journey?
Takes work.
Do you mind if I handle your
I'd be
suction?
happy to share the dildo with you.
Oh, yeah, this is a keeper.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you, Jared. That's probably the nicest thing I've ever received.
Can I see if it sticks to my skull?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right. I got to take my lid off. I love that noise you were able to make. I hope I can duplicate that. All right. Let's see if my noggin... Oh, I'll try again.
Oh, it did stick. Oh, you
failed.
No, it's stuck.
It's on there.
That definitely stuck.
That's on there.
All right, hang on. Let me see if I can. If when I pull it loose, it can make a funny sound. Hell yeah!
Did you break something?
We are having way too much fun.
There's something about Josh's noggin where it didn't really make a sound on release, but with mine, here, check this out again.
You know what? We really are the perfect couple.
We are.
We complement each other.
All right, we got to give it a name.
Oh, yeah. Text us an idea for a name for our new suction cup dildo mascot, which we
Okay.
can't display here in the studio after we leave. 651-989-9393.
What should we name our suction cup dildo mascot? Now, okay, will you at least make an attempt this afternoon, evening, by bringing it home and seeing if it can work into the mix with the wife?
I'll definitely make an attempt.
Okay. You assume she's going to turn you down. If that happens, can we bring our new mascot, who by the end of the day will have a new name, can we bring him with us to the boat party on Friday night so people can meet him?
Good question. Yeah, we'll have to ask about that.
Okay.
Like you said, it's a different day and age. You know.
It is. It is.
More Anxiety Than Hair Jesus was the first one to text in an idea for our new dildo mascot. He said, how about Dana?
Aw.
Is that what you want to call it? You want to call our dildo Dana?
That's not bad. We could have, Dana over there. Say hello, Dana.
Hi.
Otherwise known as Dano.
Yes.
The suction cup dildo mascot could be Other Dana. I don't know. That's not a bad idea.
Someone says here we can use these suction cup dildos to pull dents right out of your car. Anybody have a dent?
I bet. Yeah.
Anybody have a dent on their car?
I got a scratch. I've got a scratch. What can it do for scratches? Anything?
Probably nothing.
Okay. Well, that's a hell of a lot of fun.
What a nice way to start the day. Again, thank you, Jared.
Yeah, what's really interesting, beyond what's already happened, of course, is seconds before Josh opened up that package from a listener named Jared with the suction cup dildo inside, seconds before Josh unwrapped that package, I said to Josh, well, what are we going to talk about first break? And he said, well, hang on a second. We'll get to that in a minute. I got to open up this package. And here we were given, this was a gift in many ways. In many ways. It gifted us a brand new conversation. Yeah, we got to give it a name before the end of the day. Thank you I see the text machine is rolling.
Gosh,
like,
yes.
What do you
Movie
call
credits.
those things at the casino? What do you?
Slot machine.
Slot machine. It's rolling with
Beef Cannon Jesus pointed out, the Twins have the rally sausage. We could have the rally dildo.
Sure.
We could still call it the rally sausage if we wanted to.
Could.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for what kind of action this thing might see back at the house. I know you don't have high hopes, but I'm excited.
Would anybody, Ashley, I don't want your answer, but would anybody have a use for this? Anybody know?
Well, yeah.
Would your beautiful wife be interested?
Have you met her?
Oh, yeah. I've known her for 2 decades.
I mean, she...
Every time.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
Well, you ask her. It
if-
probably would be better coming from you than me.
If you... I think it'd be fine either way. If you somehow strike out with... And I wish we already had a name for him so I could just up and use it, but we don't have a name yet. If you somehow strike out, I'd bring it home, see what happens.
Yeah, she must not be listening.
Who's that?
My
your,
wife.
Your friggin' wife?
Yeah.
I'd be happy to run it by the old lady and see what she thinks.
Well, I'd like, I'd like to think I've known your wife for 2 decades. I'd like to think we have a relationship where I could ask her.
My friggin' wife.
Yeah,
You've known her.
The woman you've married.
Yes.
I've known many, many, many years.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We have like a friendship that we've developed over 2 decades. I was so happy when you guys got married.
All right. Where were you going with that?
2 out of 3 of us were so excited when you got married.
Without a doubt.
I wonder if we're there. Are we there at the point where I'd say, hey, a wonderful guy sent me a brand new suction cup dildo. Would you like it? Like, do you think we're at that point?
I think so. I certainly think so.
Because my judgment lately has been poor.
Maybe you're the one. Maybe you're better than I am at suggesting such a thing. Because you know what? What my friggin' wife and what a lot of wives might say when you try to gift them a secondhand dildo. Like a lot of wives would say when you try to gift them secondhand anything, they're going to say, well, it's a nice gift, but, you know, it wasn't really meant for me. That's probably what I would hear. But if you wanted to try to give it to her as a gift, Josh, as a friend, it might be. You see what I'm saying?
She might be okay with that?
Yeah. It's worth bringing up anyway. All right, our boat party Friday night, our possible boat party mascot. We're taking suggestions for the name. Now, if in fact the brand new suction cup dildo there, if in fact it can't find any work over at your house, Josh, and if in fact it can't find any work at mine, what will you do with it? Will you just dispose of it?
Probably, yeah. I mean, you know, I've got a buddy that I'm fairly certain his wife would really enjoy this, so I could give it to him.
Then that would be great. Maybe, I don't know, could you just put it up in the garage for laughs, you know?
Maybe.
On the garage fridge or something like that?
Yeah.
I do have an extra fridge.
Although, be careful. My pals once, what's the word I should use here? Created, I guess, a massive dildo out of a tree stump. A big oak dildo is what they made with chainsaws. This was many years ago in Hayward, Wisconsin. Some of the boys I was hanging out with were cutting down some trees, and so we had stumps laying around, and you know, a lot of beers were being consumed, and one dude just really went to work on this stump or log or whatever you want to call it, right? What the hell's he doing over there? He's spending 20 minutes, a half hour, 40 minutes over there working on this. And we all gathered around, and what he was doing was making a massive oak dildo with testicles. It was beautiful, beautiful. We ended up nicknaming it, well, C&B. You know where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Right. And it was our mascot for that weekend. And you know the story, Ashley. I think maybe was the one who was most in awe of this story. Because she plays pocket billiards like I do. We took it to the bar, and I made a 2-rail cue shot, not using, without using a pool cue. I used C&B.
That's insane.
To make a 2-rail cue shot, 8-ball, in a game of pocket billiards, and then I brought it home. Put it in my garage, and you know, 9 nights out of 10, there's nobody that's walking into my garage that would be shocked by the sight of such a thing, right? My group of friends and family, they're not going to be shocked to see a massive oak dildo with testicles on display in my garage. But then, Josh, I had a party, and the girl I was seeing at the time invited a bunch of her friends that I did not know. And the party was in my garage, and there it was for all to see.
Uh-oh.
Not all of them were crazy about it. What I ended up doing was putting it in the fire. I had a barrel stove. You know what I'm talking about? How does a grown person say that? I had a wood-burning barrel stove, you know, in the garage. And after some of these people were offended by the sight of C&B when no one's looking, I just threw them in the fire. So he met a terrible end.
A couple of names, some suggestions here. What do you think about Girth Brooks?
Girth Brooks.
A suggestion from a member of the Brother and Sisterhood.
I don't hate it,
okay,
but I hate the real guy.
There's a play on our other mascot, David Lee Rock.
Yes.
You can probably guess.
Which, you know what, is perfect.
It is.
That would be so good if we could do that. We can't do that one.
Kind of keeps it in the family, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that really is a great suggestion. Widespread panic Jesus recommends for revenge. I told you about Bitch Nips, a buddy of mine, who he rang my door with a childo or chindo. I screw it up every time.
Chindo.
A chindo, where it's a dildo that goes on your chin.
Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is called a childo.
It was always the opposite of what I thought it should be.
Whatever. Yeah, dude rang your doorbell with one of those?
Yeah, he rang it. He put it on, and so he's suggesting I get revenge. Now, he does have a video doorbell, so I could probably just put this on my forehead. What if it would stick to my chin? It's kind of whiskery.
The forehead's a way better look anyway.
Okay, by the way, I took a selfie. This is recommended by a member of the Brotherhood. Sent it to my wife just to say, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, what do you
Good morning.
think? Should I bring it home? Okay, so I'll try it on my chin. Nope.
No.
Nothing.
Your chin's too small.
Yeah, doesn't work.
Where were you going with this? You sent the selfie to your wife?
I sent it to my wife just to see what she thinks.
And?
Let's see if she could. She hasn't got back to me.
Okay.
You know what? So I'm looking at this selfie. First one I've ever taken, and it's perfect.
Yeah, you look great.
This really does match my skin tone perfectly.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. You'd swear to God that was your own penis protruding from your forehead.
Like if there was a bizarre porno,
yeah,
Dick had, and here I am with this thing. It looks, you don't need any more anything. Like I don't need the makeup person. I don't need anything. It's perfect.
Nice work.
Girthquake.
Well, that's already been taken.
Yeah, that's my penis name.
Yeah.
That and Private First Class Terry Tickles.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, a lot of dildo McDildo faces.
Oh, that's disappointing.
The Pale Impaler.
The Pale Impaler.
What about Yank Williams?
There's no real bounce to that one. Yank Williams. Not bad. We got to settle on something before the end of the program. We're going to have to sift through a lot of text messages.
The Ham's Bone?
Ham's Bone. Ham bone would be maybe a better flow.
Oh, yeah.
there.
Here's a ham bone. We got Ham's Bone and ham bone.
Where do we, can anyone think of a place where we would hide this so Janelle Klein doesn't see it when she gets here at 7:30? Where could we hide a suction cup dildo?
You can just put it somewhere over here, since she won't be.
Any suggestions?
It was just a joke, actually.
I knew where he was going.
I love your reasoning.
Sure, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Janelle's a mystery, right? We've known her for about a decade. And I could see her thinking this is hilarious, and I could see her not saying a word and us not knowing how she feels about it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But one thing I couldn't see her is going, oh, I got one of those. Oh, I got the same one.
Is that mine?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that.
Is that mine?
What about Dildo Lee Roth?
Dildo Lee Roth.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Because we can't do David Lee.
Right. Right. We have to.
That would have been.
We have to be able to say it out loud in mixed company. You know what's going to happen? One is going to come along here, and it's going to knock our socks off. I know it. The Brother and Sisterhood have never let us down.
Willie Vanilli?
Willie Vanilli.
Okay, that's so stupid. I
A
like
reference to early 90s pop act Milli Vanilli.
Wang Hung?
C. Willie Dilly?
Yeah, they're struggling now. It's early.
David Lee Rod.
Oh, David Lee Rod is good. See that?
That north of 95, Jesus. There you go.
We're getting somewheres now.
Cubby's Chubby.
Many people are suggesting the name of a former employee, and I'm not going to acknowledge it.
Thank you so much for everybody sending. They're coming in so fast. It's tough to keep up.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, Backtracks.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
Welcome to the jungle, clones. It's the Jim Rome Show podcast.
The greatest and loyal fan base ever. You, the clones. It all starts with the jungle. We're in it to win it, and I'm in it to go as hard as I possibly can every day to make sure that you clones get the best possible product every single day. Day one, all in, let's freaking go.
The Jim Rome Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
All right, Josh. Man, my friggin' wife. You've met her, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan. I've actually known her for decades.
You've met the woman?
Yes. Yeah.
My wife.
Decades. Yes.
Boy, she had me aggravated last night. You mind if I tell you about this?
I'd like to know.
You're a
sure.
married man, right? You can relate to some of the aggravation. Have any of you seen this television show? So, got to doing some of that miserable show prep to be ready for today's program. I got to doing some of that last night. And at the end of the night, I planted my ass down on the couch, and the friggin' wife was watching a television program. I think it was called The Bachelorette.
No, I'm not into any of those shows.
Yeah, me neither.
None of you.
I've seen a little bit of it here and there, but I've never sat down and intentionally watched. I've never sought it out.
That's what that unsettled look behind Dana's eyes is. He's thinking about terrible television programming that he could watch.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you watch The Bachelor? I thought you were into one of those.
There was that Golden Bachelor one. I watched a little bit of that one.
Oh, that's the one?
Yeah, where I actually was like, I knew who the people were week to week a little bit.
Okay, is this a hugely popular show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Oh, yeah, The Bachelor's been on forever.
Bachelor, Bachelorette.
I mean, I've got friends that, these are the types of dudes you would never expect would watch something like that, but they are hooked.
Okay.
Absolutely hooked.
Wasn't it one year the Minnesota Twins team would have, watch parties?
Yes, many years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
Many years ago, the Minnesota Twins, I think it was at spring training, when they'd have some downtime, they'd go to somebody's condo and watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. You thought it was a...
I think Brian Dozier
I'm going to go along with it.
Don't you usually say, Nick, if it's a trend or a show, you get into it about 20 years later?
Well, I get into any show. Yeah,
that's
20.
what I'm saying. It's about 20 years later. The Bachelorette started in 2003.
Is that right?
Dang. And you're asking us are you familiar with The Bachelorette?
I never in a million years would have guessed that. But yeah.
The show can drink now.
I'm not a television guy. But anyway, so I sat down, and the friggin' wife is watching this program, and what's in front of me is this scorching hot young lady, and she's crying, and she's terribly upset because I guess, however the program worked, she was supposed to marry somebody, and it didn't happen. All right? And she, over and over again, is using the word journey to describe her dating life or her life in general or her experience on the television show. And that is a pet peeve of mine. That became, speaking of trends, that became a trendy thing a number of years ago. We're not just living our lives here as aimless human beings. We're on a journey. I hate that because it's a word you use to make yourself sound more special than you really are. It's just life. It's not a journey. It's just friggin' life. And this gorgeous, scorching hot woman keeps using the word over and over again. And I finally snapped as I'm sitting on the couch watching the first, 2-3 minutes of this. Well, it wasn't the first 2-3 minutes of the program, but it was the first 2-3 minutes that I sat down and watched. It was the end of the show, I think, where she's crying and going on. And I finally snapped and I said, all right, enough with the word friggin' journey. It's not a journey. It's just your life. I'm hollering this at the television now in front of the friggin' wife. And she said, what? And I turned to the wife and I said, what? And she said, well, you have a problem with the word journey? And I said, yeah, to describe your life, it's not a journey. It's just life. And she says, so you and I, we're not on a journey together? And I said, no, we're not. And she went on to tell me that, in her opinion, she defines our marriage as a journey of love and growth.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's a very nice sentiment.
I figured you'd like that.
Nobody's ever said anything like that to me.
I figured you would like that.
Yeah.
And I disputed that. I said, no, we are not on a journey of love and growth. That's what self-centered people would say. And
it's a bit grandiose.
Yes, it is.
Maybe a shallow, pedantic. Definitely not mundane. Yeah, I would feel like, my life isn't that important to say it's been a journey.
Right. That's my entire point.
It's kind of it's pretty much just the same thing every day. Food, schedule, all that kind of stuff. And if it's adjusted, I'm miserable.
If you literally have spent your life with a backpack on your shoulders, walking to every corner of the earth, then you have been on a journey. Just going to work and making some babies and paying some bills and going on vacation once in a while, that's not a journey. I'm sorry. This drives me nuts. So last night, because of 5 minutes of this dopey dating show called The Bachelorette, me and the friggin' wife ended up at odds over how we define our marriage and our life. So she said her definition of our marriage is a journey of love and growth. And then she asked me, okay, you have such a problem with that. How do you define our marriage? And I said, we're just two people trying to have a good time. She didn't think that was the proper definition.
Ask me about CrossFit. Jesus said, if she keeps using the word journey, you're both going to eventually go your own separate ways.
You son of a dick. Don't you think that's fair, Josh? That I defined our marriage as two people trying to have a good time. Isn't that all we really do day after day? We're just trying to have some laughs, trying not to kill each other. We're just two people trying to have a good time.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy if somebody said that to me. But, I mean, what she said was beautiful prose. For example, Hallmark should get that.
Yeah, they should.
I want to send that in a card to somebody.
A journey of love and growth.
Yeah, that'd be a good anniversary card.
How corny. And grandiose, as you said.
Yeah, I'd feel a bit douchey saying, something about my life being a journey. So I know what you mean. Like when I hear somebody say that, I think the same thing. And, they probably don't mean it that way. It's just something people say nowadays.
Man. So that was how that played out after watching 5 minutes of The Bachelorette.
Everything good now?
She was trying to piss me off towards the end of the night. I mean, we were content with each other's definition of our marriage. It didn't lead to anything terrible. But at the end of the night, she tried to piss me off. I'm on my way into bed, and she cuts me off and embraces me. Little hug, good night. And she starts singing in my ear. We are on a journey of love and growth. And I said, get off of me!
It
so
appears
you didn't sleep well.
I slept like a baby.
The journey you're on with your wife right now, you've hit a fork in the road. And now you have to decide which path you want to take to continue this journey together.
I don't know if we're going to make it.
I hope you don't take separate paths.
We'll see. Because that really surprised me. She was serious. We are on... Now I'm going to get everyone singing this. It's going to get stuck in your head. We are on a journey of love and growth. But I'll tell you what, that lady, the leading lady on that show last night, wow-wah-wee-wah.
Yeah.
Is that the Jen Tran lady that's in the commercials?
Mm-hmm. Her Instagram is cool.
Oh, so you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. They always write a bunch of articles on this type of thing.
Oh, okay.
It's a huge show.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, she's got a lot of photos on her Instagram you'd like, Nick.
Oh. What does she do for a living?
She's just on a journey. I have no idea.
Don't do that, Wapple. You don't know what she does for it? It doesn't say on her Instagram. Are you on her Instagram page right now?
I was, and it did not really give too much.
All right.
All it says on her Wikipedia is that she's an American television personality.
Okay, so.
And I think I saw that she put, she's a full-time potato. I don't know what that means.
Right. Well, maybe I
doesn't do much.
Maybe I'm sorry I asked, but
oh, she looks like she's pretty smart. This year, she graduated with a Master's of Science in Clinical Medical Science.
I don't even know what that is.
That's what my dad did for a living.
Yeah. Huh?
Oh no, wait, he was a truck driver. Anyway, yeah, she was gorgeous. And the show, I mean, tell me if I am even close here, because I tried to drag a little bit of information about the friggin' out of the friggin' wife. I tried to drag a little bit of information out of her as I was sitting there for 10 minutes watching the end of this show. They get people together and give them like 2 months, and then you're supposed to get married?
Yep. That's the gist.
Anybody know if any of those marriages ever lasted?
It's rare, but there are some. Mm-hmm. I have asked. I don't remember the exact stats, but...
Because I assumed it's all fake. Yeah. For the show.
Is it?
I just assumed, for the reality show, it's like, okay, we got famous. Mm-hmm. We got what we wanted. Let's get this fake marriage annulled. That kind
Right. I mean, even Ashley and Dana get engaged, not to each other. Even Ashley and Dana give it 3 or 3.5 months before they get engaged. And that's just so amazing to me, if it's all real.
Well, and then there's so many of these reality TV shows where they use reality TV stars. So once you become famous for that, then you'll get put on a different reality.
Is that how they do it?
Yeah, this Jen Tran, she was on The Bachelor, and I'm looking at it, season 28, and now she was The Bachelorette just now, and now she's going to be on Dancing with the Stars this season, too.
Yeah, and there's this show called The Challenge or something like that, and they use people from Survivor, Bachelorette.
Really?
All these different shows.
Yeah, it becomes their job.
Yeah, they kind of recycle them through all the different shows.
Yep.
Well, I'd like to see more from that Jen.
Did you try out for the Survivor show this year?
Yes.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who tries out every year.
Yeah,
too.
we were talking about that before the boat cruise, actually.
Oh, you guys did?
Yeah. We were talking about different strategies we've used and how we're losers.
Do you set up your own obstacle course? Do you eat weird things?
No, what they say is they don't want you to do anything too goofy or silly. They just want to know who you are. They want to get to know you. So they say they don't like stunts and stuff. Just be yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us why you want to be on the show.
And then do a sweet backflip.
Yes, exactly.
Ninja Turtle Nutcase Jesus said on the Bachelor and Bachelorette, they get engaged at the end of the show. Most of them break up. So you don't actually get married then? I guess you just get engaged.
You get engaged, and then later on they do a special where they show them getting married.
Okay. Yeah, I've never watched it.
Here's a text message from Procrastinator Jesus, who says, on Facebook, I see it all the time. When people say happy anniversary to each other, they say, here goes another year on Earth in our crazy journey that we call life.
Yeah, or you, another year around the sun with my love.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, not trying to be a dick or anything, but some of those are, again, to use the word grandiose, it's a little much.
I'm fine if
you can just say that to your significant other. You don't have to put it out there, because when you put it out there, it makes it seem like you're wanting everyone to know what a good writer you are, or what a great spouse you are, that type of thing.
I think it's more the latter. Look how great of a spouse I am.
Oh, man. What about this one? This is Hot Cocoa Sheezes checking in. Is this another little slogan that people use to make their ordinary lives seem more exciting and important? She says, life is an adventure book. You choose your own ending.
I loved those books.
I did too.
Choose your own
adventure.
Well, Australian Jesus said his sister was on a show called Married at First Sight. All fake. All fake. He said we can Google her. Tracy Jewell is what she went by.
I have heard of that show.
Married at First Sight?
Yeah.
It was all fake. So she was just acting.
Yeah, that's what he said,
His sister did this. Well, yeah. Those reality shows, I assume most of it is acting, or the real dramatic Maury Povich type programs. So who were some of the other folks who hosted shows like that? Geraldo,
Jerry Springer.
I assumed most of it was all fake.
Oh, I got to see firsthand how fake the Maury show was. It was kind of fascinating, actually, when we went to a taping of it. And, the producers, they get you to cheer, they tell you when. they tape the segments like different orders. One of them got done, and they say, "Hey, we weren't too happy with that. We're going to run it back and redo it, retape it." So it's all fake.
Yeah, and I learned that about the Maury Povich show because a gal I used to know was on the show, and when it was over, she came back and told everybody. She said, I was told every single thing I said was scripted out.
There's teleprompters too.
It's funny. It's odd, but
I faked every orgasm I've ever had.
You bastard!
I'm going to say it.
You were so convincing with them.
I faked every single one. Not a one was real. I don't know if I'd be able to do something like that. I think I'd be annoyed with myself. The producers, they'll try and get you pissed off. They'll set up situations to create some strife between folks or, put you in a position. Like even the Family Feud, right? They'll ask a question that is clearly to provoke a sexual answer. And then when somebody goes, they're like, oh, my, how do you go there?
Yeah, that's good stuff, but it works and it makes money, and they don't care.
No.
Who knows? They don't care.
Tell us something of your husbands you'd like to suck. Well, I don't know if I should say it. I'm like, no, his homemade popsicles, you dummy. That's what you're supposed to say.
You're gross.
Hilarious.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
So who are some of the unluckiest people to ever live? Some of these might sound familiar to you already.
Yeah, that one dude that got struck by lightning twice.
Oh, it was more than that.
It was more than twice, Wapple. Yeah. Some of you might be familiar, but it's still pretty fascinating stuff. And most of these folks who are considered some of the unluckiest people to ever live, most of them can be considered lucky as well. And you'll see what I mean here in a couple of minutes. The unluckiest people in the world. This is one of the more elaborate stories of all of them. And it's a guy by the name of Henry Ziegland. Well, first off, before I get to Henry, let's cover the ones that I think you folks are already familiar with. A lot of our listeners are probably familiar with just because they're all-timers that come up every Friday the 13th and even in other conversations. The dude who got hit by lightning, and the correct answer is 7 times, Wapple. Okay. And a lot of folks are already texting in about that scene from The Great Outdoors. Sure, I get it. 7 times, a fella by the name of Roy Sullivan was hit by lightning. He was a former park ranger. They called him the human lightning rod. In a particularly unlucky period of his life, he was struck by lightning 4 times in 5 years.
I forgot. We talked to a listener who was struck twice by lightning.
Right.
That's where it was from.
And when this Roy Sullivan got an erection, Josh, they said it was a dangerous situation for everyone in the room.
Man. Oh, I'd be worried about the ejaculation more than just the erection.
Just everyone in the room. Okay, the lady who lived in Louisiana, and every time a hurricane popped up, it would suck her house into the sky and spit her out into the street. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Her name is, I believe she's still around, Melanie Martinez. The unluckiest woman in America is what they call her.
Wouldn't you just move to Iowa at that point?
Well, what can you do? She probably ain't got a pot to piss in. There ain't no moving.
True.
Living in Louisiana, she lost 5 houses to hurricanes. That's across a span of 50 years. And maybe the most interesting twist on her story, in 2012, that was the last house that she lost. And I think this is how the story goes. And then a reality TV show heard about her, felt bad about her, came to Louisiana, built her a new house, and then that effing house got sucked up by a hurricane.
Oh, my God.
That's awful.
Let's see, what are the others? Oh, the lady who kept getting on ships and then they'd sink. Violet Jessup. This is back in the friggin' late 1800s, early 1900s. She was an Irish lady. She worked as a ocean liner stewardess. So she was on the Titanic. Of course, that pig sunk. She was on a couple other ships that sunk. And they started giving her the nickname Miss Unsinkable because she lived through it. And she lived all the way to 63 years old. I guess that was old in the early 1900s. So this is what part of the reason why I say these people can be considered unlucky and also very lucky that, sure, they had these terrible things happen to them, but a lot of them lived to tell the story.
I don't think I would get back on a ship if it sunk once. If I experienced that once.
That was how she made a living, though.
I know, but...
And at the same time, in the late 1800s and 1900s, I don't know, people just weren't afraid of stuff.
Pardon the pun, but they just went along with the flow.
That's right.
Well, I survived that one. Maybe I'll do okay the next time. Nothing like that will ever happen again.
The lady
she was kind of hot, by the way.
Was she hot?
Violet Jessup. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was very attractive.
Describe her to me.
Brunette. She shapely. Did you ever see the picture of her? She's got like the big Red Cross dress, basically.
I haven't seen a picture of her. Was her skin a little wrinkled from constantly being cast into the ocean?
Very pruny.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very pruny for her age.
Yes. The lady who took the meteor to the side of the head.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Again, I'm rolling through the ones I'm fairly sure you know already or are generally familiar as far as the list of people who are considered the unluckiest people to ever live. The meteor, you remember this one? I guess she's the only person in history to have been hit by a meteor.
Yeah, you wouldn't think you'd survive something like that. If God throws a rock at you from outer space, you'd think you'd be dead.
Yeah. The meteor went through the roof of her house. Where is it? I lost it.
Well, it bounced off a radio.
Yeah.
And remember, radios back in the day were gigantic.
They were big.
We had a fake one at our house that was hollowed out, and my dad put like a turntable in there or whatever.
Sure, the old big box radios from the
kind of like a jukebox size almost. We had one of those things, and just the hollowed out, basically a shelf is what it became. But it bounced right off that and nailed her.
Yep, came through her ceiling, hit her radio, hit her upside the head.
The bruise she suffered is incredible. I've never seen a bruise like that before. I mean, the picture's in black and white, which might add to it, but holy cow, that was crazy. And this thing was big, too. Like maybe close to soccer ball size, it looked like, at least in the picture.
There are other listeners, by the way, Josh, who know what that Violet Jessup looked like, the unsinkable lady.
Yeah, do they agree?
Yeah, Tonka Tig Welding Jesus said he'd tap that.
That's good to know. I bet her family appreciates that.
All right, so now I have a couple more here on the unluckiest people in the world. These are the ones, at least they didn't sound familiar to me, and I hope you have the same experience. Back to where we started. Henry Ziegland. You want to hear a friggin' story? By damn, I've got one for you. 1893. Man. Henry broke up with his girlfriend. Her name was Maisie. He broke up with her. You want to know why? Because he had a side piece. That's right.
Yeah, people don't like that,
Even back in 1893, our great-great-grandfathers were going out and cheating on their women. Pig bastards that they were. It's very tragic here. So Henry busts the news out to Maisie that he wants to break up with her because he's got a side piece. She committed suicide.
Oh, no.
Awful.
Her brother, he also went by the name of Henry. Common name back then. He wanted to seek revenge against the first Henry I was telling you about for cheating on his sister. So he shows up and he shoots at Henry, part one, with a pistol. Henry Part 2 shoots at Henry Part 1 with a pistol. Misses. The bullet gets lodged in a tree. I don't know where it went from there, if they had a fist fight or whatever, or if Henry Part 1 reported this to the cops. Probably not in 1800. 20 years later, now fast forward 20 years, Henry Ziegland, the cheater, is cutting down some trees with his son, and they come across the tree with the bullet buried in it. Remember, hey, see that tree right there, son? Yeah. The son bitch, remember the story I told you? Son bitch came over, shot at me, missed me. Bullet got lodged in the tree. The son says, yeah. And Henry Ziegland says, let's not just cut this one down. Let's blow the son bitch up with dynamite. So they light the fuse. They go 50 yards away to watch the tree blow up. The dynamite explodes, and it fires the bullet out of the tree, and it hits Henry Ziegland in the head, and it kills him instantly. Oh.
Do you think the other Henry took credit for that?
You have to.
My plan came to fruition.
You have to.
I tried to do that, yeah.
That's one hell of a story. You ever hear about the guy who had some kind of a, how does a grown person say this? A computer hard drive. Okay, do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar.
I'm not entirely sure what that is.
Yes. I think many of us know what that is.
Yeah. Guy goes by the name of James Howells. He has been trying to find a computer hard drive in a landfill site. And folks here comparing it to folks in the story compared it to a needle in a haystack. The reason he's been trying to find this hard drive that got thrown in the trash, I guess that's the unlucky part, is somehow his computer hard drive got thrown in the trash. The reason he wants to find it, it has 8,000 bitcoins on it.
Oh, man.
And they say at one point or another, that was valued at around $500 million. So for years and years and years, from what I understand, this James Howells has been going to the neighborhood landfill site trying to find this stinking thing. Well, how big is a computer hard drive?
They can be pretty small.
Yeah, very small.
Okay. He's pleaded with his neighborhood city council to allow him to perform an excavation project. And they keep saying, no, we don't care about your problems. We're not going to set aside, the daily goings-on at this landfill because you swept $500 million into the trash. I'm sorry.
Quit dumping things on top of it.
I'll tell you what. Feel like the world's biggest idiot.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's in the landfill, so it's probably crushed, too, now. Doesn't work.
You'd imagine there's all kinds of damage done at this point, yeah.
I mean, it's worth your time getting out there every single day. All day.
You'd be the guy that was out there every day?
For $500 million? Yep.
Is it still worth that?
I don't know what it's worth. I mean, it goes up and down so quickly, right?
Oh, okay.
It's still worth a lot,
it could be worth more. I mean, 8,000 Bitcoins?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And how much Bitcoin did you trade for a fake ID, Ashley?
Oh, like 130.
Oh, my God.
Maybe more than that.
You said it was like almost $1 million. You could have sold it or something?
Yeah, that hurt. Yeah, at the peak of the Bitcoin craze. Yeah, painful.
I never followed it.
My goodness, Ashley.
I know.
But how you going to know?
You could have called me. I would have bought you beer, Ashley. I'm older than you.
Josh, didn't you know someone during that time period who claimed, that's it, I'm rich. It's over. I don't have to work a day in my life, and I'm rich because of this Bitcoin gimmick, and then the next day it went the other way.
Yeah, this was Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
Yeah, he had a whole bunch of that, and I think he put 10 grand in, and his highest was somewhere close to $300,000. It was like in the 290s or whatever. And because he always wanted me to get in on this, right? He said, dude, you got to do it. And I thought, I'm probably missing out, but it's just I'm a little more old school, and I'm risk adverse, just to say the least. So I stayed away from it. But yeah, then he sent me another screenshot later where he was, I can't remember. It was a lot lower.
But at one point or another, didn't he call you and say, hey, dude, that's it. It's over. I'm rich.
Oh, yeah.
I'll buy you whatever you want.
And he was telling me, like, there was another one, and I know really very little about this stuff, so my information's coming from him. There's another one called Floki, and I think he moved from Dogecoin to Floki, and I don't know. It didn't. I haven't checked in with him in a while, but I'm assuming it's not going great because he used to kind of send me updates and screenshots, of what he was up to. But, yeah, at one point he was like, 290-some grand, and then it just took a dive.
So it looks like one Bitcoin is worth like $59,000 this morning.
Man.
I still don't understand a single word about it. But then again, I've never made much of an effort to understand it. So really, honestly, Ashley, you had some kind of Bitcoin in your pocket. You traded it for a damn fake ID. This is a true story, and now today it's worth $1 million or something?
Yeah, it was... At the time, Bitcoin and like the U.S. dollar, the exchange was equal. So they just because I bought it off of the dark web, they only use like electronic money like that.
So if you
whatever it is,
Ashley, if you still had 120 Bitcoin, you'd have $6 million, almost $7 million right now.
Yeah, win some, you lose some.
Oh, you lost some there.
Sometimes you lose big.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you spent on it?
Yeah, so I spent probably, I think it was like 130 or 140, so it was 140 bucks.
Okay, so I'm sorry if you already said that. There was a lot of numbers flying around.
That'd be $8 million.
So, I mean, is there a finders keepers thing? Because if I'm tempted to take a flight to a garbage dump and go start digging for this hard drive.
Mm-hmm. Do you still know, are you still familiar with the person that you gave the Bitcoin to in exchange for a fake identification?
No, it was a random person.
Do you think that they have any idea what they're doing? What they're sitting on?
Maybe. I imagine so. It was like the website to get fake IDs from. Like everybody knew about it. So.
But did you have, an actual, like a full Bitcoin or just a portion of one?
No,
that's what people are wondering.
There were full Bitcoins.
Oh, you had that many full Bitcoins?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, man.
All right.
I got a friend of mine, was it GameStop? Remember the big GameStop thing?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
He was kind of inflating that. He lost quite a bit on that one.
Did he?
Yeah.
I've got one more here for you on Friday the 13th as far as the unluckiest people to have ever lived. And this is a Japanese guy. Oh, the last name is Yamaguchi. He was 29 years old when he narrowly avoided death twice in 3 days. Is he still alive? No, he died when he was at 93 years old. What a poke. That's a hell of a run. He was 29 years old during World War II. And before he died, he was the only official recorded survivor of both the atomic bombs that we dumped on Japan at the ass end of World War II.
Wow.
He was 2 miles from Hiroshima, 2 miles from ground zero, when that bomb hit the ground. He only suffered a perforated eardrum, and he had some burns on his upper body. When the Nagasaki bomb was dropped, he was there too. So after the Hiroshima bomb goes off, he says, well, this town is dust. I'm going to go back home to my hometown of Nagasaki.
No one's going to find me there.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, they weren't aiming for him.
No.
Yeah, I don't think our government was going, let's get this jacket.
This is the guy we're going for.
I mean, he just, it's time for me to go home. This is horrible. I'm going home. And it just so happens that Nagasaki was the next target. So he was part of that friggin' disaster 3 days later.
The story he told was, everyone's asking him about it. He's telling everyone, well, unless you experience it, you'll never know. I can't even describe it.
Josh is right. According to the story, he was telling other villagers about what he had gone through, and then they said, well, what's that whistling sound? Ah! The sumbitch was there for both of them, and he lived.
All right, Ashley, this might make you feel better. I mean, you tell me if this is incorrect. A lot of people are saying you you couldn't have had 130 Bitcoins because they've never been that cheap. You had $130 into a part of a Bitcoin.
I have no idea. It was way before like they were worth anything.
All right.
That's all I remember.
Hey, Ashley, I haven't understood a word that you've said anyway. I'm on your side because I don't get at all any of that topic, of that subject.
Oh, my gosh. All right, so, again, I don't really know too much about this stuff. Sorry for the ignorance. Foundry Rat Jesus said, I had so much Doge in 2020. I sold it at the beginning of 2021 for a newer and nicer wedding ring for my wife. 6 months later, it rocketed. If I held on to them, I would have had $98 million.
Oh, man.
He said, I'm going to have to work another 30 years before I can retire now.
Well, these things happen.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.